Welcome to Transform Your Life in 5 minutes in a very convenient podcast format so you can listen to it on your way to work, for example. Today, we're going to be looking at gratitude. And I got to say, some of the stuff I found while prepping for this was pretty surprising.
Yeah, gratitude is definitely more than just, appreciating what you have. It really does have some benefits that go way beyond just feeling good.
Yeah, for sure. And this source is saying there are some serious benefits,
Yeah.
like beyond just feeling good. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's fascinating how it can actually impact you physically, too. It's not just this fluffy, feel-good concept.
Yeah, I was really surprised to see it linked to things like better sleep, even a stronger immune system.
Well, the connection is all about how gratitude affects your stress response. The research shows people who actively practice gratitude, they actually have lower levels of cortisol, which is the stress hormone.
Right.
And we know chronically high cortisol that's linked to all sorts of health problems, including sleep disruption and a weakened immune system.
So it's not just about being in a good mood. It's about creating this whole cascade of positive changes in your body.
Exactly. And that's why I think it's so important to see gratitude as this powerful tool to improve our lives, not just a nice to have.
Okay, so let's talk about how to actually, you know, put this into practice. Because I know what you're thinking. I barely have time to brush my teeth in the morning. How am I supposed to add another thing to my to-do list?
Right.
But this source actually lays out some really simple methods, things anyone can fit into their day.
Yeah, it's not about these big life changes. It's about those small, consistent ways to just weave gratitude into what you're already doing.
Like one thing they mentioned is starting your day with a mental gratitude list. So before you even get out of bed, just take a few minutes to think about a few things you're grateful for.
It sounds simple, but honestly, setting that positive tone first thing, it can really make a difference in your mindset for the whole day. You're basically priming your brain to notice the good, even when you're facing challenges.
That makes sense. It's like starting your day with a mental high five.
hmm
And another one that seems pretty easy is just expressing thanks to others more often.
Yes. And that one's great because it has two benefits. It strengthens your relationships with people, but it also reinforces those feelings of gratitude inside yourself.
Yeah, I feel like we often take those little acts of kindness for granted, but when you consciously acknowledge them, it can really shift your perspective.
Absolutely. It's about making that effort to recognize and appreciate all the good that's already there.
And the source also talks about reframing negative thoughts. Like instead of complaining about a long commute, maybe you can focus on being grateful that you have a reliable car.
Exactly. It's not about pretending the challenges aren't there. It's about finding a new way to look at them. That's the real power of gratitude.
Because sometimes those problems are actually things we'd be devastated to lose, right? Like you complain about your kids being noisy, but if they were suddenly gone.
Exactly. It's about getting that perspective and appreciating what you have before it's gone.
I remember reading about this study where they asked people to write about a time they were almost in a serious accident. And it turns out that experience actually increased their gratitude overall.
That's so interesting. It just shows how even those really challenging experiences can be opportunities for growth and gratitude if we choose to see them that way.
So maybe it's not about avoiding the tough stuff, but about finding those silver linings.
Absolutely. And the more you practice this, the easier it gets. You start to develop a more resilient mindset. You're able to find those moments of gratitude even when things are tough. And this source talks about recognizing abundance too. Like instead of focusing on what we lack.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, it's so easy to get caught up in comparing yourself to other people and feeling like you're always coming up short.
It's like that whole keeping up with the Joneses thing. We see what other people have, and then suddenly we think we need that stuff to be happy. But it just never
Yes,
ends.
because there's always going to be someone with more right, more money, a bigger house, a nicer car.
Exactly. And that kind of thinking, it just keeps you feeling dissatisfied, like there's not enough to go around.
Whereas gratitude helps you appreciate what you already have
Yeah.
and find that contentment, in the present moment.
It's about shifting that focus from what you're missing to what you do have. And that can be so freeing. It gets you out of that constant striving and lets you enjoy the simple things.
Yeah, like I've been trying to work more gratitude into my own life,
Yeah.
and I've noticed I'm actually less stressed about things that used to really bug me, like traffic, for example.
That's great. It's a good reminder that gratitude isn't just some abstract idea. It can really make a difference in how you experience your day-to-day life.
It's kind of like putting on those rose-colored glasses. You
Yeah.
still see the world as it is, but you're choosing to focus on the good parts.
And the more you do that, the more good you start to see.
So how do we make this a habit then? Because it's easy to feel grateful when everything's going great. But what about when things get tough?
Well, that's where the real work comes in. It's about training your mind to find those moments of gratitude even in the hard times.
So not pretending everything's perfect, but finding those glimmers of hope when things are rough.
Exactly. And the source actually gives some techniques for doing this. One is to focus on what is going right, no matter how small it seems.
Like even if you're going through something difficult at work,
Yeah.
you can still be grateful for your health or your family, or even just a beautiful sunset.
Right. It's about finding those little anchors of gratitude that can keep you going.
Another technique they talk about is reframing those negative thoughts by asking yourself, what can I learn from this?
That's such a good question because it helps you shift from feeling like a victim to seeing challenges as opportunities to learn and grow.
Yeah, because sometimes those bad experiences actually lead to something better down the road.
Definitely. And even if you can't see it right away, just asking that question can help you approach things with a more curious and open mind.
It's like they say, sometimes you win, sometimes you learn.
Exactly. And that mindset of always learning, it can make even the toughest times feel more manageable.
This has been really insightful. I'm already feeling more inspired to make gratitude a bigger part of my life.
I'm glad to hear that. And remember, it's not about being perfect. It's about making that effort to cultivate gratitude every day.
So as we wrap up this look at gratitude, what's that one key takeaway you want our listeners to remember?
I think it's that gratitude is a practice. It's not a destination. It's something you have to work at and nurture. And the more you practice, the more you'll experience its power to change your life.
And even those small, consistent efforts can make a big difference.
Absolutely. So I'll leave you with this final thought. What's one tiny thing you can do today to bring just a little more gratitude into your life?
Mm.
Maybe sending a quick thank you note or starting a gratitude journal. Or even just like taking a moment to notice something beautiful around you.
It really can be that simple, huh?
It really can.
I love that challenge. At the end of the day, it really is about taking action, right, and making that conscious choice to make gratitude a part of your life. Well, thanks for joining us for this deep dive into gratitude.
And remember, the more you practice gratitude, the more you'll see how powerful it can be. It can really change your life.
Absolutely. Until next time.